Scriptblocks here. In this tutorial, we're going to make the Pokédex in Godot using the PokéAPI REST endpoints and Godot's HTTP request and a few signals. As you can see here, you hit scan, it shows a Pokemon, it shows their name, it shows their moves. If you like this tutorial, please like and subscribe. All right, let's get started. Okay, so what is the PokéAPI? The PokéAPI is a bunch of endpoints that you can use to pull in Pokemon data. They are REST endpoints, and you use GETs on them. They return a JSON object of the data. So in this case, this is a list of Pokemon. And we can take off the offset here, and we will see just the first few Pokemon. So Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur. And then it goes over to 100 of them since we have a limit of 100. And then you have another endpoint where you say / and then the name of the Pokemon. And so it has a bunch of attributes there. So it has the ability attributes. It has the name again under forms. We'll use that one. And scroll down, you can see there's tons and tons of things. And we're looking for moves. Let's see. Go ahead and search for it. Okay, so there's moves, there's an array of objects, then there's a move object, and inside there it has the name of the object. And we also want to use images, so there's one for sprites, and it's an object, and we're going to use the front default. So that has a URL for showing where the images are. Okay, let's go over the project in Godot. So we have a main scene. We have a texture called Pokédex, which is just the background image of the Pokédex. We have a GUI scene, and the GUI scene is a canvas layer, and then it has a texture rect that has the Pokédex in it that we drug over. It has a text where we're going to have the moves and the name of the Pokemon. It's a rich text label, and we're going to use the BB code area for it and make sure it's enabled. Pokemon image, and for whatever reason the image is in the bottom right corner of it, so I'm just putting that in the middle, and that's also a texture rect. And then we also have a button, and the button says scan on it, and it has a signal that does on button press, so we can look at the code. So when you do on button press, it's going to call the get Pokemon list from the network manager. And what is the network manager? So the network manager is a singleton. So we'll show you in the project where that's set up. There is an auto load tab here, and we're going to call it network manager, and it points to network manager GD, and the singleton's enabled. And this has 3 HTTP request objects created, and they have also the signals for them. So there's one that's going to be a list signal of all the Pokemon, one that's going to be a Pokemon signal, and one that's going to be the image signal. And they are associated to the request complete connection. So when the HTTP request finishes, it has a request complete, and then the first one's going to point to PokéList request completed. So we have that implemented here, and that's going to get the body of the response, and it's going to emit a signal, Pokemon list signal, and return that body in the JSON form. And we have another one that is the data of the body. So like if we say get me Ditto, it's going to return that. And then the last one is going to return the image that we saw. So we're going to find that URL, we're going to create a new image texture. And then I have flags set to 0 here, so the filter is not turned on. So you may know when you do an import, they have a 2D sprite version of it. And in that case, the import you don't want filter on because it's a small object. So if you set it to 0, then that filter is off. So we'll go back to the code and I'll show you again. So that filter, flags is equal to 0. So it turns the filter off, so it turns into a nice crisp pixel image. And it's going to create that image, and then it's going to emit a signal saying that texture has been found and returned. So when it goes back to the GUI can put it in the little screen. Okay, and then if we go into the GUI script, these are all the connections to the network manager. And the button press calls the get Pokemon list. And then that goes to the network manager. There's a method in there for get Pokemon list. It's going to call the request to get the list of all the Pokemon APIs. And then when that finishes, it's going to respond. And that response is going to go back here. It's going to parse out that list. It's going to find a random one from between 0 and 99. It's going to get that Pokemon name, and then it's going to return the Pokemon name. And then this one is when it gets the actual. So if you say ditto, then it's going to look at the JSON. There's a little example of JSON there. It's going to look at the results. It's going to find the move array, and inside that move array, it's going to find the first index of it, and it's going to find the move. So it's going to get that object there, and inside that object, it's going to get the move name, which is the name here. And then the forms, we're going to get the name, kind of do the same thing. And then we're going to also look at the sprites, right? And from the sprites, it's going to get that one that had assigned front default, and it's going to call that method that takes in the URL for the sprite. And then when that returns, it's going to call this Pokemon image request completed. It's going to build that image like we saw before, and it's going to emit the signal to the GUI. And then this part is just setting the name of the Pokemon and the first move that it finds. And then when it says, when that get Pokemon image one finishes, it's going to set the texture of that Pokemon texture. So if we run it, we see we hit the scan button. It calls the PokéAPI, it processes, it shows a picture, shows the name, and it shows the move. We scan it again. We can get another one, Graveler, Mega Punch, scan it again, Zubat, and so forth and so on. Well, I hope you liked this tutorial. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm just showing you here that there's a random number. We run it one more time. So it's not randomized, so it's just going to keep doing the same random set. Like I said, if you had any questions, just let me know. Like and subscribe. Appreciate your time. See you next time.